somebody comes and pinches your cheek, they say, don't touch. Speak to me. If you find me cute, tell me in words. Don't touch me. It's a scar which remains with me. The wounds heal, but then the scar don't. And that scar will go with me to my grave.
Thank you, ma'am, for talking to Brut India. I wanted to start first with the speech that you just gave at the India Pavilion during the inauguration. You spoke that we should look at Indian cinema as one. We speak of Tollywood, South, Bollywood, and you sort of brought the whole room together.
I think we have been accepted as Indian cinema within ourselves. I think it's only when it comes to the media, with all due respect to them, they find it a little difficult to say South Indian region and then say that it's a Tamil cinema versus South Indian film, Telugu cinema. They find it a little lengthy, so they make it a short term. This is Bollywood, this is Hollywood, that is Tollywood, and this is Bollywood. I think we need to cut that because, like I said in my speech, we never talk about it's a Hollywood film, it's a US film made in US. It's a British film, that's it. We don't differentiate. You have people in DC, you have people in New York, you have people in LA or SFO making different kinds of films, even in Boston. But we don't Boston wood or New York wood or Collywood or DC wood, like they say Hollywood.
Taking a cue from what you just said, India is at Cannes, India is at the Golden Globes, we won the Oscar. What would it take to sort of scale Indian cinema up on the global scene?
Why we do not appreciate commercial cinema makers? You have fantastic technicians in commercial cinema. It takes a lot for a hero to be the hero, to be seen as the hero who fights, who sings, who dances, who protects his family, protects the entire village, protects the entire nation. It takes a lot of brain to play that kind of a role. Or a woman, the female actor who has to look her best. There's so much of hard work goes into this. So I think we need to look beyond that. And like Nata Nata winning Oscar, it was from an absolute commercial cinema. It was not a very hard-hitting, documentary, or it wasn't a hard-hitting realistic cinema, what we generally see. So that was, probably a ray of hope for me.
You worked in films. You're an actor. You've been an actor. Is there something which is different in working with the directors from the South, with the producers, directors from the South versus in the North? Is there a different kind of filmmaking?
I think people in South are a little ahead of times, the kind of films they make, and whether it was Kantara, whether it was KGF, whether it was Pushpa, whether it was RRR, or you talk about Bahubali, or you talk about Ponniyin Selvan, or even you talk about a very, very action-oriented film like Vikram, Mr. Kamal Hassan's film. I think you need to see that somewhere down the line, I always insist that we Indians are deeply rooted to our tradition and culture. And every film you see, there is a touch, there is a connection at the ground level with our culture and tradition.
It was very courageous of you to share your own story, about your abusive father. You came out and you put it out in the public. I wanted to ask you, what is your message to young people, young women, young girls and boys out there who are probably going through, a similar thing?
I think they have to speak up. I was very late. I was very, very late. I had the courage to speak about it now. But then probably I had, everybody goes through it. You have your own issues, you have your own family, you have your image, you don't want people to know what you went through. And I want, in today's times, there are people who are ready to listen to you. There were times when we used to be absolutely judgmental, but we have seen a different section of people who are also opinionated. Yes, you have your social platforms where you'll be trolled, you'll be called names, they will find fault. The easiest way they do is, whenever there's a victim, they say, what did you do to provoke the man? And I think that needs to stop. People need to be a little more sensitive. And I want children who have been through this, or anybody for that matter, at any age when they go through this kind of abuse, I want them to speak up. You cannot stay silent, because you're not only hurting yourself, but you're protecting the person who has done this to you, and you are also allowing him to have a platform to abuse others, because he will be under an impression that he or she will be in an impression that nobody speaks about me because they're ashamed of what happened to them. So I can continue abusing. And I say, what we go through as victims, we don't have to be ashamed. We have to speak about the person and shame him.
And how did you get sort of the courage to come out and share this?
It has been there for many, many years. And I found that because I was addressing a lot of young children who were like in their 10th and 12th grade children, 16 to 18 years old, who are at the threshold of getting into this new life of how to be an entrepreneur, how to do something with their lives and what do they want to be in the future. And I'm sure that in that auditorium, there were many children who have been through this kind of abuse and they keep quiet. So I have two girls. So I have spoken to my daughters about my abuse, and I have always been open to them that it's not fine for a man to come and touch you when you say no. And and I've told them that nobody's allowed to even pinch your cheeks, because I consider even that as an abuse. So right from their school days, I would say that if somebody comes and pinches your cheek, they said, don't touch me, speak to me. If you find me cute, tell me in words, don't touch me. So this is kind of bringing up what I have given to my children. And when I spoke to my girls about my abuse, they were very supportive and they said, Amma, we stand with you. And of course, my husband, he knew about it. So it was there, and like I said, then it is, it's a scar which remains with you. The wounds heal, but then the scar don't, and that scar will go with me to my grave. But then I wanted to tell the children that it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed to what happened to you. Come out and speak, and it just happened.
Making the world a safer place for young people,
Yes.
taking that thread forward. You're the member of NCW, and I wanted to ask you this. What are some of the measures? Let me rephrase that. I want to ask you this. Do you think women's safety has ceased to be a political issue? And if you do agree with that, why? The reason why I'm asking you that is because everybody knows that we need to make India safer for women. And half our population is women, half of them are voters. But we don't find that echo in manifestos, in what political parties usually speak about. So I wanted to ask you this as a member of NCW. What do you think about that?
When we talk about women empowerment, I think nobody in the world had ever thought that it's not only in India, even different parts of the world. Globally, we have seen that women without toilets, they used to find it so difficult. And here, nobody could ever think of, but Prime Minister came up with Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and with this mission, he made sure that there were 11 crores of toilets which were built across the country, where women need not wake up at 3 in the morning and go to the jungle to relieve themselves. And in fact, today it's it makes me feel so proud that girls, when they talk about marriages, the first thing they ask, even in the village, bathroom hai kya, toilet hai kya? Nahi hai to shadi nahi karni. So pehle toilet banao. So I think women are also realizing that dignity is important.
My last question is on the Kerala story. We've had West Bengal state government ban it, and obviously we've seen a bit of divide on showcasing the movie or not. I wanted to ask you, how do you see this?
See, once a film is certified, I think nobody has a right to stop the release of a film once a movie is certified, because that's the highest court. You have grievances, you file a complaint. You don't ban a film. And as far as Kerala story is concerned, or any film which comes, is spoken about and to be banned, I think it just gives them the publicity. You see the kind of people who are on Twitter who talk about it, they are the people who have gone and seen the film. Let me tell you, most of them, they are neither the voters, they are neither the people who go and actually watch the film. So they want to be part of that group, to be seen and heard. So they give their opinion, that's it. But the film has done extremely well, and the same thing we saw even with Kashmir fights. The film has done extremely well. So people want to see what is happening. Why is it that people are calling for a ban? If the film is not good, people are not going to watch it. And it's not about reality, it's not about the brutality. I think what is important is if people are connected. Any person who goes and watches a film, he's not going to say, okay, this happens or this does not happen. Probably this happens, and if this happens, it's not right. We need to stop this somewhere. And that with that mindset, people go and watch. The real moviegoers are definitely not judgmental-minded people where they go and say that, okay, this is what happens.
Thank you so much for talking to Brut.
Thank you.